Aloha, everyone. This is the Committee on Hawaiian Affairs. We are gaveling in on the 1 p.m. agenda here in Conference Room 224, April 1st. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we are interrupted, we will try to reconvene before the end of the time slot, which is 2:30, and finish our business. Testifiers, please keep it limited to a 2-minute timeline. We have other people testify, so I ask you to respect that. If there are any temporary technical glitches during your time testifying, if you're on Zoom, we will probably move on and try and come back to take care of that and let you finish testifying. Like to remind everyone, we do have your written testimony, so you can stand on your testimony if you would like. And you can also go to the legislature's website and review the testimony just by clicking on the link. So with that, we have 5 measures on this 1 o'clock agenda. GM 674 Kawaipuna Kalipi. This is a nomination to the Island Burial Council for Island of Molokai. First testifier we have is Lenaala Lei.
Good afternoon, Chair Richards, Vice Chair San Buenaventura, members of the committee. This was OHA's nominee that was vetted through our internal selection process. We went through public nomination, kahea, that the community submitted applications. Applicants were selected, or candidates were selected for nomination based on their qualifications and involvement in the community and knowledge of Malama iwi practices. Our nominees were then approved by our Board of Trustees and submitted to the governor for your approval. So we stand on our written testimony and strong support of this nominee. Mahalo.
Thank you. I don't have any other signed up for oral testimony. We have Ms. Kalipi on Zoom. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to testify?
Aloha, Chair Richards.
Aloha.
Vice Chair San Buenaventura, good to see you as well. Honorable committee members. Mahalo for this opportunity to testify on GM 674 in strong support of Kawaipuna Kalipi to serve on the Molokai Island Burial Council. I flew here from Molokai because this is important to my community. I'm Maui County Council member Kiani Rollins Fernandez, Kupa Aina of Molokai, advocate for our community members, past, present, and future. Caring for iwi and burial sites is heavy kuleana, the weight of which is understood by most people, which is why not just anyone is able or willing to do this important and potentially risky work. Protocol to properly care for iwi and to protect oneself and their family from handling of iwi is necessary. So I mahalo Puna for her willingness to awamu kuleana. As you know, the Island Burial Councils emerge as a result of the hewa done to those in our lahui that were laid to rest, but whose remains were brutally, violently disturbed and removed from their resting place. The process of having iwi kupuna protections have since been hollowed out by making the burial councils defunct by not filling them with at least bare quorum of membership. When Governor Green transmitted his nominations, we celebrated. Our burial council would finally have quorum to officially meet. It's appalling that petty politics of personalities have prevented our council from achieving quorum. Our Senator, Lindy Coit, was not there for our Molokai Kupa Aina La'akea Poi Poi and Keomailen Hanapi Hirata. The first 2 names on this agenda that were stricken. 2 individuals who continue to do this work regardless of title. However, without quorum, SHPT will not be able to take actions that legally require consulting with our burial council. This is a disservice to Molokai and is detrimental to our ancestors.
Please wrap up.
As the Senate Committee on Hawaiian Affairs, I am looking to you after Sine Dai to address this with the administration for all island burial councils especially since ensuring our
Councilmember,
burial
please wrap
council
up.
had quorum to operate doesn't seem to be a priority for our own Senator Lindy Coit for the entirety of her term.
Councilmember, please wrap
Mahalo,
up.
Chair.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to testify? No, I saw you first.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. My name is Jessica Puff. I'm the administrator of SHPD. Apologies, I think that our testimony may not have been submitted in advance, but I would like to read a little bit of our testimony that we attempted, or I thought we had submitted. Ms. Kalipi's qualifications make her a strong candidate for the Molokai Island Burial Council with a demonstrated commitment to Hawaiian culture, community service, and environmental stewardship. Currently pursuing a PhD in political science at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Kauai Puna's focus on Hawaiian studies and Malama Aina with hands-on experience in both cultural and environmental work makes her an excellent candidate for the protection of iwi kupuna, and we strongly and happily support her nomination.
Thank you.
Aloha aina kako. My name is Kilmailani Hanapi Hirata. I come from the island of Molokai. I come from a long line of warriors and an island that really alohas me. I'm very kaumaha to hear the politics that played in my nomination and what went down.
Please stick to the
So,
agenda. You're here to
yes.
speak on the nominee.
Yeah, she's from Molokai.
Yes.
So I am testifying in strong support, and I stand by my written testimony for Kauai Puna Kalipi. And I wanted to share that the protection of our iwi kupuna and burial sites is a sacred kuleana that must be upheld with the highest level of cultural care, local oversight, and community authority for remote islands like Molokai, Lanai, and others with limited state agency presence. The absence of an active burial council leaves our most sacred sites vulnerable to desecration and irreversible harm. Our kupuna and their final resting places deserve better. Mahalo for allowing me to testify.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there anybody else in the room?
Hi, my name is Pinky Aloha Kikipi. I was a former borough council member and I support anybody that
Please sit down.
representative of the Island Burial Councils. Some hard jobs, but I'm here to testify on what I believe was the resolution that says they wanted to transfer from the,
Oh, no, hang on. That's coming up.
they're coming up,
Yeah,
okay, so
so-
this is on Manala.
No. This
Just
is
about supporting the
when
burial
that
councils?
happens, yeah, this is strictly on nominations for the
Okay,
burial
good.
council. So
I
I'll
support the
let you know.
nomination of this borough council member that will come up on the next.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. All right, is there anybody else? Is there anybody on Zoom IT besides our nominee?
Nobody else on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have Ms. Kalipi. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the committee, and then we'll go from there.
Aloha, Chair and committee members. My name is Kauai Puna Kalipi, and I'm really deeply honored to be considered for this position for the Molokai Burial Council. Mahalo nui for this opportunity to serve my island and community. Maka'olelo Hawaii, many sayings speak to the relationship of Kanaka to Hawaii, some that reflect the connection that Kanaka have to land. Sayings like Oneha Nau, sense of my birth, Kupa Aina, sprout of this land, and Kama Aina, child of this land, illustrate this deep bond. Other sayings emphasize genealogy as a connection, like Kupa Ayau, sprout that is fed through generations, Kula Iwi, source of my bones, and Oiwi, to the bone. I was born and raised on Molokai, and the bones of my kupuna later rest there as well. It's both a responsibility and an honor to come from this land and to uphold the kuleana passed down from our ancestors. Serving on the Island Burial Council is kuleana I take seriously. It requires thoughtful advocacy, cultural sensitivity, and steadfast dedication to ensuring the proper treatment and protection of ancestral remains. My education and professional experience have prepared me to lean into this responsibility, and I remain committed to upholding our shared duty to Malama Iwi Kupuna. However, given the lack of quorum, I have to now, at the very least, reconsider this position. It's not a decision I'm taking lightly, but I do not wish to waste a term on the burial council when there is no quorum to allow us to fulfill our kuleana effectively. From what has been shared in this hearing, on the news, and across social media, I'm kaumaha because Moloka'i and our community deserve so much more than whatever is preventing us from moving forward with this. Our iwi kupuna deserve a fully functioning council that can advocate for them with the strength and unity they deserve. If a state committee position such as this one is left unfulfilled, responsibility typically lands on the governor. In some cases, the Senate also shares responsibility if they delay or reject appointments without cause. The LNR and SHPD also bear administrative responsibility in ensuring vacancies are reported and addressed. Between these 4 state entities, this position has remained unfulfilled for an unacceptable number of years. I'm sorry, Chair and Committee, but this is not just an administrative oversight. When critical state board or council position remain vacant, it can lead to serious legal consequences, particularly if the lack of appointments result in a failure to carry out mandated duties. Several legal risks include failure to comply with state and federal law, denial of due process, negligence and mismanagement. These vacancies don't just impact Moloka'i. This patterned failure harms the legitimacy of this state, leaving our iwi kupuna vulnerable and disregarding the trust placed in this government to protect them. This issue has the potential to be escalated to a high-risk lawsuit for the state because of its many delays in filling these vacancies over the years. Mahalo nui to all who supported my nomination, especially to OHA and to you, Chair. For now, however, I respectfully request to put my nomination on hold until a time that there are enough committee members to achieve quorum. My commitment to protecting and honoring our iwi kupuna remains unwavering, and I will continue to support efforts to strengthen the Moloka'i Burial Council so that it may serve Moloka'i to its full potential. More importantly, I'll be on Moloka'i with the many kia'i iwi like Keani and Kale and La'a, continuing to protect our iwi kupuna. I hope this body of government will join us soon. Mahalo, Chair and Committee.
Ms. Kalipi, would you like to finish the interview with the committee and us vote for your advice and consent? Or are you withdrawing from this?
Is there a possibility to hold my nomination until there is enough nominees for quorum?
We are going to run out of time.
Chair, can I?
Yeah, please.
Aloha, thank you for stepping forward to serve in this position. I guess the question I have, just to clarify, is that the way that advise and consent rules work in the Senate, because you have been nominated, if you are not confirmed by the Senate before the end of this legislative session, you are deemed rejected and will no longer be eligible to serve in the role. If your nomination is withdrawn by the governor, then he can potentially, although it would need to be in an interim appointment because the deadline has passed for this legislative session, if you are withdrawn, you can potentially later be appointed. So because this is Q&A, the question is whether you were aware of that because of the nature of the situation. And I do understand where you're coming from and the feelings that you have about this. They're coming through the screen for sure. It's just the committee is in the awkward position of if we hold your nomination and do not take a vote on you, we reject you permanently.
Do you understand that, Ms. Kalipi?
I understand and I hear the dice roll that is being presented before me, that there is a prospective chance that the Moloka'i Burial Council may reach quorum this year if the governor decides to appoint nominees Keomailani Hanapi Hirata or nominee La'akea Poipoi or other nominees that the governor deems acceptable. Right now, am I understanding that correctly?
Right, and just to clarify, the way the calendar of this legislative session works, the deadline has passed for the governor to submit nominations to any boards and commissions for the remainder of this legislative session. He can continue to appoint members to boards or commissions like the Burial Council for the rest of the year. They will be considered interim members and will come up for confirmation in the 2026 legislative session. But because you were appointed before the deadline, we need to either take action on your nomination or your action will be deemed rejected.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah.
I'm pulling my nomination from this committee.
So what's the rules? Stand by while we
Why don't we
work out
go
the.
on, you want to do a recess or you want to
Yeah,
go through everything and then do a recess?
Hang on, Ms. Kalipi, we're going to recess so we can make sure we get the rules right. Hi, this is Committee on Hawaiian Affairs back in session. Ms. Kalipi, ordinarily what we do is we go through our agenda, then we come back for decision-making. Given what you have stated, what I'm going to be doing with your nomination is we're in defer decision-making until later. My office will communicate with you as far as the parameters. The concern is if we don't take action on your nomination, you will automatically be disqualified and will not be able to be appointed interim. If the nomination is withdrawn, that's a different story, but you're already before me, so we're already in process at this point. Do you understand this so far? And what we don't want to do is trigger a problem for you going forward. We want to make sure we handle this appropriately. Is this making sense for you?
It is. Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate the clarity that this committee is seeking around this process.
Okay, so with that, what I'm going to do is defer decision-making until April 10th at 1 p.m.
Oh, okay.
And in the interim, we will work on getting this straight so we can give you accurate information.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate each and every one of you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to Governor's Message 676, Dane Maxwell being appointed to Burial Council for Maui and Lanai. We have one testifier, Ms. Rada. Do you want to testify in person?
Aloha aina kako. My name is Kilmailani Hanapi Hirata, and I testified written testimony in strong support of Dane Maxwell, and I stand by my testimony, and I want to just share something briefly. The work of burial councils in Hawaii sets an example for global indigenous sovereignty movements. When we protect our ancestors, we affirm that our culture is not a relic of the past. They are living, sacred, and non-negotiable. Burial councils are not just adversary bodies. They are the first and last line of defense for our ancestors. Their role is critical in a world where indigenous sacred sites are constantly threatened by urbanization, exploitation, and indifference. Supporting these councils means upholding the most fundamental principle. Our ancestors deserve to rest in peace, and our descendants deserve to know their heritage remains intact. Without indigenous oversight, burial sites are often destroyed, disrespected, or commodified in the name of progress. I believe Dane Maxwell gonna hold the front line and the back line for our iwi kupuna. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to testify?
Aloha again,
Aloha.
Chair Richards, Vice Chair San Buenaventura, honorable committee members. I'm Kiani Rollins Fernandez, council member for Maui County. I testify in strong support of Dane Maxwell, GM 676. Maui needs a solid quorum to meet, especially after the 2023 fires. For example, the Shipti website shows that in the last 8 years, our Molokai Burial Council has only been able to meet 3 times. 8 years, 3 times. Please don't let this happen to Maui. Mahalo for taking up all these nominations.
Thank you.
Hello, and apologies again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm thinking we had some technical difficulties with submitting our
Identify
testimony.
yourself.
Oh, yes, I'm Jessica Puff, the Administrator of the State Historic Preservation Division. I wanted to read to you some of our testimony in support of Dane Maxwell's nomination. He's a dedicated cultural specialist and lifelong advocate for the protection of iwi kupuna. He was actively exposed to cultural stewardship and taking care of iwi at a young age through the work of his ohana. He is a fluent speaker of Olelo Hawai'i and a lifelong hula practitioner. Mr. Maxwell was also ordained as a kahu in 2011, furthering his spiritual and cultural descendancy. His experiences in historic preservation include contributions to cultural impact statements, burial treatment plans, and other mitigation efforts for many often high-profile projects on Maui. And Mr. Maxwell has also served previously both as chair and vice chair of the Maui Lanai Island Burial Council, and we happily support his nomination.
Thank you. Any other testifiers?
Aloha.
Aloha.
My name is Star Kalaheleo Kalani Kalahiki, and I'm here to speak on strong support of Baradigi Dane Maxwell. We're both part of Team Hui'iwi Kuomo'o and brought back some iwi kupuna. Bara and I, our connection and our kuleana goes back to even before us, that my father was part of a group that his grandfather had started back in the 70s. He is not just an amazing practitioner, but a really solid brother. And I didn't even know that this was happening, but when I saw him pop up on the screen, I just needed to lend my voice to this. So mahalo brother for all you do, and mahalo kupuna for this, and mahalo to you for allowing this moment.
Aloha. Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Seeing none. Mr. Maxwell, would you like to address the committee?
Aloha kakou, aloha chair, aloha vice chair, committee members. Mahalo for all of your time. Kalamai, I'm currently at the elevation of 10,000 feet, so words come to me a little slow right now, but you know, it's kuleana, it's hard because I just got the news about certain people's nominations being rescinded, and it's really hard to find individuals who want to sustain themselves and awamo a kuleana that is so critical to preserving our identity as Kanaka Maoli. And so I want to kako everyone who steps into this space. The kuleana I'm very familiar with, being that this is something that my papa, Charles Kuluvehi Maxwell, has instilled in my life, along with many of my ohana members. But as a community, it takes all of us as within all of our different parts within our culture, our society, and our pai'aina to really manage malama and give the best. You know, we talk about care, but it is aloha that I, myself, and my family receive the most from our iwi kupuna. So I'll keep it short, and mahalo everyone who testified in support of my nomination, and mahalo again to you all. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Committee members, do you have any questions for Mr. Maxwell? Seeing none. All right, Mr. Maxwell, what we're going to do is we'll go through the agenda, and then we'll call for the votes at the end. So thank you, and I completely appreciate your willing to step up. All right, thank you. Moving on to Governor's Message 677, Noelani Parisa. Hang on now. Testimony for what? for Mr. Maxwell? Yes. Okay, I will allow this, a little unusual, but I'll allow it. I'm going to limit you to 1 minute to come before. Come. We don't bite, I promise.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Princess Lehuanani Kumaeva Kaina Kaleo Momona. I am from West Side Lahaina.
Sit down with us.
I prefer standing, but I prefer, my name is Princess Lehuanani Kumaeva Kaina Kaleo Momona. I am from West Side Lahaina, one of the fire victims. I live here on Oahu, but I want to say I know Dame's father, Charles Maxwell, very well. He was a kupuna for us over there in Lahaina. He helped us with a lot of things. It would be my honor that you guys get him on this team because you guys will be doing good for Maui. We need young ones like this to speak up the truth that his father left for him. So that's what I want to say. Please, and good to see you, Dane. Aloha to you, and God bless to you. Aloha, mahalo kia kua, maruru, malama pono.
Aloha.
Aloha Board. Thank you for allowing us to speak. As we're well aware, there are
Identify yourself, please.
My name is Shar Kahumoku. I'm a lineal descendant of Kawikioli and Nahi Ena and many of the Royal Crown. I do come from the House of Moana in more than one way, intertwining, making Queen Liliuokalani a grand aunt or for a last queen. In 1839 and 1840, our kingdom made its own constitution, kingdom constitution. Every HRS statute that stands today is taken from our kingdom. And in our 1860, in Chapter 56, protection of places of sepulture, Chapter 56, for the protection of places of sepulture, if any person not having any legal right to do so shall willfully dig up, disinter, remove, or convey away any human body from any burial place, or shall knowingly aid in such disinterment, removal, or conveying away every such offender, and every person accessory thereto, either before or after the fact, shall be punished by imprisonment at hard labor for not more than 2 years, or by a fine not exceeding $1,000. 1860, page 21. I wanted to bring that out because I also serve Governor Green, Annie Lopez, and Don Cheng, head of DLNR, to protect the tombstones of the Mana'ala as a lineal descendant of many of the grandparents there, first cousins, aunts and uncles. So I ask that you take into consideration that our Kanaka people have the
Please wrap it
authority
up.
and the mana'o to take care of our own iwi. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to be moving on to Governor's Message 677, Noelani Parisa. We have Lena Ala, you have submitted written testimony. Did you want to say something in person?
We'll stand on our testimony.
Thank you. I have Ms. Puff, you wanted to speak? Shipti.
Good afternoon again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jessica Puff, the Administrator of SHPD. We have some testimony that I'll read into the record, but Noelani Parisa is a Kama'aina of Maui, a dedicated and steadfast advocate for the protection of iwi kupuna. She embodies the values of Kuleana, Aloha, and Malama'aina. Ms. Parisa is involved in the restoration of native ecosystems, community-driven traditional stewardship, land and water rights, and policy advocacy for Native Hawaiians. She holds the knowledge and experience necessary to navigate the complexities of cultural preservation while ensuring that the voices of our kupuna and community are heard. We strongly and happily support her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I have for testimony in person. If somebody else would like to testify on behalf of Ms. Parisa? Seeing none, moving on, governor's message.
Noelani Parisa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Vice Chair. Excuse me, Ms. Parisa. Go ahead. Introduce yourself to the committee, and we'll open up for questions.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, committee members, and all those present in the room and on Zoom. Mahalo for your time today. O Noelani Parisa ko'ui noa no ha'ama kahalui no Kauai mai hanau. I am humbled and honored to be considered for this opportunity to serve my community. This kuleana is great and I do not take it lightly. I resolve to do my best work to malawana iwi kupuna. In the words of our kupuna, mai kuluai walei ka iwi o na kupuna. Our connection to our kupuna, aina, and each other lives in the bones. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. And I'll open up for questions to the committee. Committee, any questions for our candidate? Okay, thank you very much. We'll be taking up the voting at the end. Moving on to Governor's Message 678, Caroline Hartman. I have Oha stand on your testimony. And then I have Dilanar Shipti.
Good afternoon again, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I'm Jessica Puff, the Administrator of SHPD. Caroline Hartman is a native of East Maui and has a long lineage connecting back to East Maui families with genealogical ties to that Aina. Ms. Hartman carries the kuleana to her kupuna with a sense of respect, service, and aloha, which reflects in her dedication to both cultural preservation and community well-being. She has demonstrated this commitment in the past through active protection and stewardship of iwi kupuna. Ms. Hartman was raised to carry on her family heritage of traditional healing, which she inherited from her mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Her experiences demonstrate a strong background, willingness to serve her community, and appropriate cultural grounding needed to navigate the sensitive issues of burial council responsibilities. We strongly and happily support her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? All right, moving on. Oh, excuse me. Ms. Hartman. Are we here? Do we have it on Zoom?
Not on Zoom, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to our final candidate, Governor's Message 679, Benedette Duman. Testifiers, we have Oha standing on your testimony. Yes. Okay, Dilanar, back up again.
Last time, I think. Again, good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. I'm Jessica Puff, the Administrator of SHPD. Benedette Duman is a native of Lahaina, where she's raised assisting her grandmother in the caring for an iwi kupuna at Waine'i Cemetery, and gained generational knowledge of cultural practice, protocol, and respect for iwi. Ms. Duman currently serves as a liaison at Haleakala National Park, where her role has given her valuable experience with cultural resource management and Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act, which is the federal historic preservation law. She provides training to staff members, volunteers, and partners on Hawaiian culture, language, and history. Ms. Duman's experiences combine cultural knowledge, awareness, and legal frameworks, and highlights her dedication to ensuring that appropriate cultural practices are upheld in the management of historic sites and the protection of iwi kupuna. We strongly and happily support her nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Also have Ms. Hirata. She must have left. Is there anybody else in the room who would like to testify? Okay.
Belina, my name is Nan Kubatbat. I was for 30 years employed by the Hawaii Pacific Parks Association, which is a nonprofit partner of Haleakala National Park. It is here that I met Benedict Dumont. Starting as an interpreter in the Park Service, she has worked her way up to her present position. This happened because of her dedication to the Hawaiian culture and a strong desire to care for the environment that supports this culture. Her desire to practice and her application of the stewardship for our environment makes her a solid candidate for the position on the Burial Council. In her current work assignment, she regularly engages with diverse groups, sharing with and helping these groups understand the multifaceted information to help them be respectful of the cultures and the places that are wahipana. She is eager to use her energy and her experience on the Island Burial Council to help protect and honor our iwi kupuna. Mahalo nui no.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Aloha, my name is Princess Lehuanani Kuma'ewa Ka'ina Kaleo Momona. I am the blood auntie. We know her as Honey Girl. Hard for me to call her her English name because I always called her Honey Girl. Born and raised, 547 Waine'i Street, Lahaina. My mama, my uncle, my grandma was the ones that been raised Keopualani, Row 2, when I was a little girl. We get 11 of us. I'm the ninth youngest. My mama went Hanai, Honey Girl. She was raised on the sacred land of Waine'i and Wai'okama Ahupua, going up to Kau'ula Valley. I graduated Lahaina Luna, class of 80. Proud. I'm also one of the burn victims. With family, cousins burnt. We had our houses, churches, schools, everything around us burnt except Queen Keopualani's Row 2. That was the only one that survived in that whole entire area. 507 Waine'i Street is where we was born and raised. Thank you so much. Again, besides Maxwell, you guys gonna be doing good to Maui. You guys will make Maui great again. Thank you so much. Thank you, my honey girl, for taking this stand. You know Grandma is here, Grandma Kahili. Mahalo kia po to all of you. Malama po.
Mahalo.
This is my sister.
My twin sister. 11 of us.
All right, aloha, Chair and Committee.
Aloha.
This is my first time, but I come here with much gratitude and humbleness. I come here to support my niece.
Please identify yourself.
I am Nettie Aquino. I am on Maui, one of the main community organizers from the fire disaster. I have a nonprofit called Nakia'i o Maui, and I am the executive director and founder. I now serve the people of Lahaina. So I come here today about my niece, Bernadette Duma. I'm not used to calling her by her whole name. But I come here about her qualifications. She has a capacity, she has a commitment, she has a conviction. She was a kia'i on Mauna Haleakala. If you can protect a sacred place, you can protect the iwi. You can protect the aina. And what also makes her qualify is that she's a konohiki. If you know what a konohiki is, that's a caretaker for a royal place. From the time we were young all the way till she's older, even till now in Lahaina at 535 Waine'i Street by Ola Congregational Church, we are the descendants of Queen Keopuolani, and we are the konohikis. If anyone qualifies to take care of our future, our present, and our past, this will be the people that serves then and now. And so I come here asking for your support to let Maui not just rise again, but to let Maui rise again as a lahui. Let the community know that Maui is going to rise in every way that we can. So thank you, mahalo, for hearing me. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you. Is there anybody else?
Aloha again, Senator
Aloha.
Richards, Chair Richards, Vice Chair Sanborn Ventura, honorable committee members. Again, I am Maui County Council Member Kiani Rollins Fernandez. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify on GM 679 in support of Bernadette Honeygirl Duman to serve on the Maui Lanai Island Burial Council. Although I just met her today, I received strong recommendations from those I trust who have cultural expertise, and I'm grateful for her willingness to awa mokuleana. As stated earlier, after the fires in Lahaina, the seat reserved for Lahaina cannot remain vacant. As more and more EV are found, we need the Burial Council to have quorum to take action. As earlier testifiers before me shared, confirming or advising and consenting to the Maui nominations is doing good for Maui. So mahalo for your work today.
Thank you, Council Member. Okay, last call. Anybody else? Seeing none. All right. Miss Duman. I guess we're supposed to call you Honey Girl, but
Aloha, Winala.
Aloha.
Bernadette Honeygirl Duman. When we had talked, Senator Richards, I was thinking to myself, oh, I forgot to tell you, like, nobody knows me as Bernadette. I do go by Honeygirl. So, yeah, so.
To introduce yourself to the committee, and this is a talk story, real easy,
I can
okay?
handle talk story sessions. So I go by Honeygirl. I am from Maui. As my aunties had shared, you know, growing up in Lahaina was something that I always treasure, and just thinking about my grandma and how she would be with the water hose and she'd be like cleaning the tomb. And of course, Lahaina is very hot. And so that's one of the ways you would cool down, is by grandma shooting us with the hose. So they were cleaning, my aunties were cleaning, and I was playing. But an auntie shared with me that I never really thought about it, how by being in the tomb and being with my grandma and being around that area, I think what my grandma was doing was instilling in me, like, oh, you don't have to be afraid of being in a graveyard area. And I think after an auntie told me that, it clicked, you know, like, wow, this is awesome. I never even thought about it. I think my desire to apply and to serve on the board is, I've always wanted to serve my people. I've always wanted to give back to my aina. And I feel like this is one way for me to do it. I think by being here today, I see the challenges and I see how hard it's gonna be. But I know that I have the strength and the support of people who love me and who've seen me grown as a person. As I'm as a local girl as you can possibly be. And I tell you what, working in the federal government was such a growing and learning experience to grow personally and professionally, to be in this particular space and time right now. I never thought I would be able to serve my people and my aina in this way. Never crossed my mind that I would ever even be interested in applying for the Burial Council. But I love my aina, I love my people, and I really feel like this is a way that I can do it. And just so you know, I did check with the DOI ethics office, and I am cleared to actually serve on this council, providing that, you know, I've been reminded that what I do here is totally separate from work, but I know I can harness everything that I learned from work to be able to serve in this capacity. So yeah, I think that's what I want to say. So if you guys get any questions, yes, please.
That was an excellent one.
Please
You did terrific, honey girl. Okay. So now I'm going to open it up to the committee for any questions for you, okay?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Just a comment. My tutu told me the same thing. She said, don't be scared of the dead, be scared of the living. And so I just really wanted to comment and mahalo you for having the courage to step up. We're up against more than just what we see in the natural, but as we know, it's spiritual too. And it sounds like you're very rooted in that way. And seems like you have a lot of support, both naturally and spiritually. So I wanted to really just thank you for having the courage, for stepping up, and thank you for taking on the kuleana to help our lahui. And I just wanted to share my mahalos to you and your ohana and everybody here that is here to support you, and even those back home. So mahalo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator. Any other questions from the committee members? Okay, we're going to go recess real quick to talk story. Make sure we get this line, then we'll go into decision making. So stand by. We are back in session for decision making. Vice Chair, are you ready for the votes here? On the first measure of Governor's Message 674 with Ms. Kalifi, we are going to defer that, as I stated previously, to April 10th at 1 p.m. Moving on to Governor's Message 676 for Dane Maxwell. It's a recommendation of the chair to advise and consent. Any conversation, any questions? Hearing none. Oh, sorry. Okay, a little housekeeping. Sorry, on the deferred decision-making for Governor's Message 674, it's April 10th at 1 p.m. in this room, 224. Okay, so moving on for the vote on Dane Maxwell, it's advice of the chair, recommendation of the chair to advise and consent. Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on 676, GM 676, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Ihara. Aye. Senator Keokalole. Aye. Senator DeCourt.
Aye.
Chair recommendation is unanimously adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Moving on to our next Governor's Message 677 for Ms. Parisa. It is the recommendation of the chair to advise and consent. Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on GM 677, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Are there any noes? Are there any reservations? Seeing none, another unanimous consent. Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Moving on to Governor's Message 678. Ms. Hartman wasn't here, but we're going to go ahead. She did go through the application process and we had a good interview. So with that, it's a recommendation of the chair to advise and consent.
Voting on GM 678, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent, seeing all members being present. Are there any reservations? Are there any no's? Seeing none, another unanimous adoption. Your recommendation has been adopted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Chair. And the final measure on the agenda, GM 679, Honey Girl Duman. We're going to change the name, okay? It's a recommendation of the chair to advise and consent.
Okay, voting on GM 679, noting all members being present. Are there any reservations? Are there any no's? Another unanimous adoption. Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. We are at the end of the agenda. We are adjourned. Hello, everyone. This is Committee on Hawaiian Affairs. We are gaveling in on the 110 agenda, April 1st, 2025. We have 6 measures on the agenda, resolutions, and we will start off with SCR 92, SR 75. We will be taking them at the same time. OHA.
Good afternoon, Chair Richards, Vice Chair San Buenaventura, members of the committee, Lena Alalea on behalf of OHA. OHA agrees with the basic proposition of this resolution that legislative involvement is really important and helping to educate our lahui about how to best be able to engage in the process is important, and it's a priority that we've had for some time. I put in our testimony just, some of the things that we've done most recently over the past year. We regularly have forums on specific topics during Merry Monarch. We helped host a mayoral forum on Hawai'i Island this past July. We regularly communicate with beneficiaries at in-person meetings. We'll attend community meetings, association meetings, different Native Hawaiian organization meetings, and share our legislative priorities and try to understand from the community what their priorities are. The level of our presence and visibility in the community has definitely fluctuated over the years. OHA is under new administration, and this is definitely a priority moving forward, is being more visible in the community, meeting many of the goals that are set forth in this resolution. So we believe that, we share all of these all of the purposes of and goals of the resolution, and would be happy to provide a report back to the Senate to see next year, kind of get a more in-depth overview than what I was able to provide you in the testimony today about the scope of our involvement in the community. We are planning, I can say, to host island-specific meetings in person before next legislative session to talk more about our legislative priorities, hear back more from the community, and do, some of this training that you're talking about, because it's long, the session is long. So I agree, if, the bills go through all the hearings, people might, if they don't understand the process, it can be confusing where we are. And we definitely want to help clear that up. The one ask would be that we are not asked at this point to create an advisory group, because this is something we're trying to prioritize and look at internally, and managing an advisory group in a serious way where you really gather input and meet regularly and take their advice seriously. It's a large time commitment. So we would ask that you can look at the report that we provide next year and go forward from there on your assessment of what we're doing. But we absolutely share the goals and priorities set forth in this resolution. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have signed up to testify. Is there anybody who wants to testify on this matter? Seeing none, moving on to the next agenda item, SCR 160. I have one in Zoom and one in person. I have Hokule Lindsay on
Not
Zoom.
available on Zoom, Chair.
No, in the room. Must have zoomed in.
Good afternoon,
Aloha.
Chair, members of the committee. Hokule Lindsay, Deputy Attorney General. The Department of the Attorney General respectfully opposes this resolution. It makes 2 requests of the Attorney General, and both requests are premature at this time. First, with regard to the request for the Attorney General to assess whether there has been a breach of General Lease 231 between the Department of Hawaiian Homelands and the National Park Service. There is no indication in the resolution itself that there has been a breach of the lease. And if the Department of Hawaiian Homelands were to have concerns that there was a breach of the lease, then we would provide our legal advice to the department through the normal course of our legal representation. Secondly, with regard to whether the lease should be amended or rescinded because of the anticipated transfer of Kalawao County to Maui County, without more details in place, it's not possible for us to determine if there will be an impact on the lease at all. So with that, I thank you for this opportunity, and I'm available for questions.
Okay, thank you. OHA? Oh, excuse me, no, it was DHHL. Do you have anybody from DHHL? There we are.
Aloha Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Oriana Leal of the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. The department stands on its written testimony with no position. As Hokule mentioned from the AG's office, we have no reason to believe that there has been any violation of compliance with GL 231. We recognize the federal administrative orders upon NPS, and we continue to communicate and engage with NPS. Despite those orders. If you have any questions, I'm available. Mahalo.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to testify on this matter? Seeing none, moving on to our third measure, SCR 161 and SR 130. And we have OHA in person.
Mahalo, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. This resolution was introduced at OHA's request. It was a resolution that we worked on with SHPD and members of the community in advance before asking it to be introduced. There has been a number of times over the years when people have inquired about OHA's willingness to manage portions of the burial sites program, more specifically the island burial councils. So helping to support and train and notice the public meetings and that aspect of the program. But what this resolution sets forth is a working group, since it would take, the time and resources to actually convene a large number of community and agency representatives. The goal is actually to look more comprehensively at what portions of the burial sites program might be it might be in the best interest of the Native Hawaiian community to transfer to OHA, and to look closely at the rules, the statute, as well as the operationalization and the implementation of the program, and to consider whether this is a good thing. And the proposed members of the working group, we do have a slight amendment. We did work with the community and SHPD in advance, but originally the bill as written had 2 representatives from OHA, 2 from SHPD, 1 from each of the 5 island burial councils, and then just 1 from a named community group. But we think in the interest of opening up membership more broadly, so it really is an inclusive working group that people have trust in, that it would be beneficial to allow community members to submit their names, and for the working group to select up to 5 additional community members to sit on the working group. So it would actually be quite large. It would be 5 from the IBC, up to 5 from the community, that's 10, and then 2 from each of the agencies. So that's a 14-person working group. But again, the goal is to really make this as inclusive as possible. What came out of the burial sites working group report, which was published in 2023, is there are a lot of community concerns about how the program is currently run and what could be done to improve it. So this is really, again, to make this process as transparent and open as possible, so that when, the members of the working group, the final report would be to recommend statutory or regulatory amendments. People in the community already know where these are coming from and why they've been put forth, and even had the opportunity to participate. And these would also be, some of these would be publicly noticed meetings as well, so that people could provide testimony in that way. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we have another in person, Mr. Edward Ayal, if I'm saying that correct. I do not see anybody here.
Mr. Chair, thank you.
Aloha.
I make sure talking about the right thing, the Native Hawaiian Burial Sites Program.
Go ahead, sit down.
Okay.
And identify yourself, please.
My name is Nantin Kiki Aloha Kikipi. I'm fired on burial sites through the program as a Puna representative. I'm for the collaboration of all this, guys getting together and finding how we can best serve each other. I think if we are working together, then we have enforcement, we have the OHA with less resources. On the terms that I served at the Hawaii Island Burial Council, we were so strapped with resources that when we had our minutes, we had our own council person physically write the minutes down because we couldn't even have a working recorder. And when we first started, we had to get people flying in from Oahu. We never even have our own person on our own island that was designated for us. So I think if we're working together, then we can share the resources, especially now with globally and what's happening. And I think that I really appreciate you guys looking into passing this so we can work collaboratively together. So,
Okay.
working.
Mahalo.
Thank you very much.
Is there anybody else who would like to testify on this? That's all I have signed up. Seeing none. Moving on to our fourth measure. SCR 167, SR 136. We have OHA again.
Mahalo, Chair, Vice Chairs, members of the committee. I can stand on our written testimony that we're happy to submit. The report that we are already approved by our board to prepare. It'll be a phase 2 due diligence report, and I put in our written testimony some of the components that would be included, which includes our staffing budget, the resources we have, a community outreach plan, a cultural stewardship plan. So it would have already many of the components I think that the committee would want to know that are in place. And that's part of the due diligence process we do for any legacy land or commercial lands that we acquire. So this is part of our standard operating procedure, and the board approved us to move forward on that in February. So we expect this to be done about the end of the summer and could be shared at that time.
Okay, thank you. DLNR, Kurt? I guess you're here instead of.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, mahalo for hearing this. This is an important issue. On behalf of Chair Chang, we stand on our written testimony, providing comments on our proposed amendment. Mahalo.
Thank you. James Myoho.
Senators, I am James J. Kalaimamahu, Cronenberg, Myoho. I'm the lineal kahu of Mauna Ala. And I'll stand on my written testimony and if I can just gently offer a reminder to all of us of what Mauna Ala is and what it isn't. Mauna Ala at its inception is a family burial plot. It's burial grounds. And that's codified in federal law that still exists. The intention was for the private burial of the Kamehameha family. That now is expanded to our Kalakaua cousins, which happens to be my family outside of being a descendant of Ho'olulu. It is not and was never intended to be a public ground. It was never public till 1947. It is not and was never intended to be a state park or state monument. So I would offer gently to both OHA and the DLNR that any procedures, or processes, or reports that do not include the guidance in EK of the Ohana that has cared for the iwi kupuna for over 200 years and has very specific and developed ways of doing that, particularly to these special iwi kupuna, does not produce a fully informed product. It can't be a legitimate product if it does not include this very important cultural component to that. So with that in mind, in my testimony, that's what I needed to say. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Is there anybody else that wants to testify on SCR 167, SR 136? Hearing none, moving on.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, thank you so much.
aloha.
Star Kalahileo Kalani Kalahiki. I am a singer and a resonator and aloha aina and kia'i. I want to just say in this process of holding space at and for Mauna Ala, or even before this time, my engagement with Mauna Ala has been absolutely life-changing. I'm a co-producer of a documentary about Queen Lili'uokalani, and so my story starts there. But I understand that so many people have such deep connection to that space. So I want to mahalo each and every one of you face to face for your continued effort to kako'o the care of Mauna Ala. On another note, when you asked about whatever was earlier, I have a personal story. I'm a Kanaka Oiwi, and I really, really want to trust in the office that of the affairs of Hawaiians. And when I was in the trip with Diggy for Hui'iwi Kuomo'o, when you guys said Hale Aloha Ayal's name earlier, I was just like, oh, that's actually my kumu. And on that trip, Oha made me sign kind of like it was like, as a musician, I always thought maybe one day some record producer would make me like try and sign away my identity. But no, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs did that before this last trip. And it was really like heartbreaking, like the kind of manipulation of optics that I was used for, I felt. And so here I am again, like holding space for something so sacred, really wanting to trust in the Office of Hawaiian Affairs to do what's best for Hawaiians. So I just want to say with my voice, mahalo for your effort in supporting that truth, that oia'i'o. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, moving on to our fifth group, SCR 168 and SR 137. Requesting Department of Hawaiian Homes to develop and implement water access pilot project. First up in person, we have DHHL.
Aloha ho, Oriana Leal, DHHL. The department stands on its written testimony in support of this measure. The objective of this measure is in alignment with our Kawai High Regional Plan, as well as our Kawai High Water Assessment. And I'm available for questions. Mahalo.
Thank you. That is all I have in person. Is there anybody else who wants to testify? See not, moving to our final. Yes, Chair.
For 168?
Oh, if you have a question, sure.
Yes, for DHHL.
DHHL, come back up.
Thank you. Quick question, DHHL. Thank you. With this particular reso, will this be a wind turbine facility and that you're aware of?
Given the current language of the bill, I understand that it is meant to provide hydroelectric power, which may or may not include turbines. However, preliminary stages would still have to be completed in order for us to determine that.
And then is a part of those preliminary stages beneficiary consultations?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
I failed
great.
to mention that in my verbal testimony, but in my written testimony, it notes that beneficiary consultation is absolutely necessary and a requirement of the department before proceeding with any pilot project.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on to our final measure, SR 38. We have no testimony, written testimony. Does anybody want to testify in person on this subject matter? Seeing none, we're going to go into recess and then we'll come back for decision making. Hello, everyone. This is coming back in, reconvening on the 1:10 PM agenda for Committee on Hawaiian Affairs for decision-making. On the first measures, SCR 92 and SR 75, it is the recommendation of the chair to request that OHA provide an annual report to the legislature concerning the activities. And I realize this is something that you're doing already, but if we can get a report and help broadcast what you're working on, we'd like to do that.
So pass with amendments?
So pass with amending that we are requesting a annual report. OHA, okay? That'll work for you? Yes. Okay, thank you. So Vice Chair, it is for the vote as recommendation to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Voting on SCR 92, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Ihara is excused. Senator Keokalole.
Aye.
Senator DeCourt. Aye. Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to SCR 160, concerning the question on whether or not a general lease has been materially breached. Listening very carefully, it's the recommendation of the chair to defer. Okay, moving on. On the third collection of measures, SCR 161, SR 130. It is the recommendation of the chair, and this has to do with convening a working group for OHA to examine the burial site management. So this is putting together a working group, and OHA, there's going to be some things that we'll work on with you coming through. Recommendation of the chair to take the proposed amendments from OHA up to 5 members of the community with expertise and experience in protecting Native Hawaiian burial sites, including but not limited to recognized lineal and cultural descents who self-identify and submit their names for selection by a majority vote of the working group. There will also be some tech amendments that SMA is recommending. So that is the recommendation of the chair. Any conversation, comments? Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, voting on SCR 161 and SR 130, noting all members being present, are there any noes or reservations? Seeing none, chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. Moving on to the fourth group, SCR 167 and 136. What I'm going to do with this, it's recommendation of the chair to defer this measure. You have a report coming through, and rather, I was going to defer it anyway. But if you could have that report coming through to us, we don't need the paperwork. And much of what would be involved in that is already in the previous measures, SCR 161 and 130. So we don't need more paperwork. So we're going to defer that measure. Moving on to SCR 168, SR 137, requesting DHHL to develop and implement a water access pilot project. It is the recommendation of the chair to pass as is.
Okay. Voting on SCR 168, SR 137, noting that all members are present. Are there any reservations? Are there any noes?
No vote for me.
Okay, no for Senator DeCourt. Chair recommendation has been adopted.
Thank you. And on our final measure, the SR 38, supporting Native Hawaiian intellectual property working group request. We received absolutely no support, any testifying whatsoever, and so it is the policy of the chair to defer a measure. So SR 38 is deferred. That's the end of our agenda. We stand adjourned.